America's expanding war with Iran has reached a terrifying new level, with the conflict intensifying across multiple fronts and raising fears of a prolonged regional military confrontation. The human cost of the conflict continues to mount, with 427 U.S. troops reported injured since the fighting began, including nearly 100 service members wounded in just the past 2 weeks alone. Iran has claimed to have launched coordinated strikes targeting U.S. military positions in Jordan, Bahrain, and Kuwait, signaling a widening battlefield across the Middle East. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps claims that its strike on the U.S. military complex at Jordan's Rukban base killed several American troops, although Washington has not confirmed the claim. While Iran's Revolutionary Guards claim U.S. troops were killed in the Rukban base strike, the Pentagon has stood by its official figures of 17 and has not confirmed the reported death toll. Iran's Revolutionary Guards are celebrating what they describe as a deadly and successful operation against U.S. forces in Jordan, portraying the strike as a major military achievement. The Pentagon says nearly 100 American troops have been injured over the past 2 weeks, highlighting the growing toll on U.S. forces as military operations continue. According to the Pentagon, a total of 427 U.S. service members have been injured since Operation Epic Fury began, underscoring the escalating human cost of the campaign. On the 10th consecutive night of military operations, U.S. forces carried out fresh strikes on Iranian command centers and maritime assets, as Washington continues its campaign against Tehran's military infrastructure. Mujtaba strikes back on the battlefield yet keeps diplomacy with the U.S. alive, signaling that war and talks can run side by side. Tehran holds its nerve even as the U.S. rolls into a 10th straight night of strikes, insisting it won't abandon negotiations. Iran keeps talking even while Trump drives fresh attacks to seek payback for U.S. soldier deaths. Talks between the U.S. and Iran are reportedly still underway despite the renewed wartime clashes. The dialogue continues even as U.S. strikes aim to make Tehran pay for alleged violations of the Memorandum of Understanding. Axios reported on July 20th that diplomacy is ongoing, quoting a U.S. official, according to Iran International. U.S. official cited by Axios said, and I quote, "These devastating blows will continue until the president deems otherwise, but talks between our countries are continuing." Unquote. Iran is widening the battlefield, and America's Gulf allies now find themselves directly in the line of fire. For the 10th straight night, American warplanes and drones have returned to strike targets across Iranian territory. U.S. Central Command says the latest operation is aimed at further degrading Iran's military capabilities. U.S. Central Command statement read, and I quote, "Today at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, U.S. forces began a new round of strikes against Iran at the Commander-in-Chief's direction. The strikes are designed to further degrade Iranian military capabilities used to attack commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz." Unquote. Southern Iran has once again come under heavy bombardment as another night of strikes rocks the region. Iranian media reported fresh explosions in Bandar Abbas and Sirik as air defenses scrambled into action. The Revolutionary Guard claims it intercepted an American cruise missile during the latest wave of attacks. Air defense batteries were activated around the Bushehr nuclear area after reports of incoming threats. Residents reported loud explosions while Iranian defenses attempted to repel the attacks. Tehran now accuses Washington of targeting the Darkhovin nuclear facility during the latest offensive. Iran is calling on the international community to condemn what it describes as unlawful aggression. The Iranian government says it has formally raised the issue before the UN Security Council. Meanwhile, another maritime incident has intensified fears over security in the Strait of Hormuz. Reports say an unidentified projectile struck a commercial tanker in one of the world's busiest shipping lanes. Iranian media says this is yet another attack threatening global energy routes. Qatar has publicly condemned Iran's latest attacks, warning that the conflict is becoming increasingly dangerous for the Gulf region. Qatar's Ministry of Foreign Affairs statement read, and I quote, "The state of Qatar condemns in the strongest terms the renewed attacks launched by the Islamic Republic of Iran on the territories of both the sisterly state of Kuwait and the sisterly kingdom of Bahrain, and considers them a flagrant violation of the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the two countries, and a blatant breach of international law, the Charter of the United Nations and the principles of good neighborliness." The Ministry of Foreign Affairs confirms that the continuation of these attacks constitutes a dangerous escalation that will complicate efforts to contain tensions and undermine political and diplomatic endeavors aimed at achieving security and stability in the region. The ministry stresses the need for an immediate and complete cessation of all military actions and attacks that threaten the security and stability of the region, refraining from anything that would widen the circle of escalation, a serious return to the path of dialogue and negotiations, and commitment to the understandings achieved through diplomatic efforts. The ministry reiterates the state of Qatar's full solidarity with the state of Kuwait and the Kingdom of Bahrain, and its support for all measures they take to preserve their sovereignty and security." Unquote. The Gulf region is facing mounting pressure as Iran expands its military response beyond its own borders. Kuwait and Bahrain remain at the center of Tehran's warnings as regional tensions continue to rise. Missiles, drone attacks, and airstrikes are pushing the Gulf conflict into a far more dangerous phase. Neither Washington nor Tehran appears willing to ease military operations as the confrontation intensifies. The Strait of Hormuz remains the world's most volatile flashpoint, with every new strike raising the risk of wider war.
I think CENTCOM has laid it out exactly what the objectives are. The only reason why the U.S. is conducting strikes is against assets of Iran that are being used to attack global commercial shipping. The Straits of Hormuz are international waterway, and they continue to launch against ships in that international waterway. Other countries should join us in this effort, but the United States is involved not just in protecting those ships, but in targeting the places that they use to launch these missiles and drones. So that's what you're seeing. That's what the objective of this mission, and that's what it continues to be. And we continue on a daily basis very successfully to degrade Iran's ability to target and ships. You hear about the ships that have been struck. You don't hear about the ones that have been defended and the ones they haven't been able to launch against. But as long as Iran insists on controlling an international waterway, we're going to have to respond to that.
Do you see a diplomatic off-ramp still? Do you believe that
I think we're always open to diplomacy. It has to be real. It has to be a deal that they're willing to live by. Look, Iran a week ago was supposed to put out a statement saying that the Straits of Hormuz would be open, that they would no longer attack shipping. And instead of doing that, they attacked 3 ships. I think that was last Friday or Saturday. So, I mean, their behavior has to change in order for ours to change.
Is the MOU dead?
What?
Is the MOU dead, or are we just back at full-scale war?
Well, they're not complying with it. I mean, the straits are supposed to be open, free of tolls, free of attack, free of all the things they're doing against these ships. So you can't have an MOU that's alive if they're violating the terms of it. What I will say is that the United States always remains open to a diplomatic solution. We've tried multiple times with Iran, and we'll continue to try. If that door opens, we'll be happy to see it open. But and they continue to send signals that they want to talk, that they want to negotiate. But their behavior is what we're responding to. And their behavior is they're launching missiles and drones against ships, including tonight.
What was your reaction to the president saying he wanted to charge a 20% toll on cargo in the
Yeah, but I think what the president was saying basically is that the United States, every night is taking on the burden of protecting global shipping. Virtually none of those vessels are flagged U.S. Almost none of those vessels are delivering cargo or fuel to the United States. So we are basically providing the service of protecting these ships on behalf of the world, and we're the only ones doing anything about it. So what the president is basically raising the point is, at some point, the countries and the nations benefiting from the shipping through the straits should be able to step forward and provide at least financial assistance for the cost of providing this very valuable service. That's what the president was alluding to. Now, he pointed out after the fact as well that some of the countries who are shipping product through the straits are investing hundreds of billions of dollars in the United States, and he'll credit that towards them as far as this effort. But I do think the world is coming to a point now where it's clear that Iran, at least some people in Iran, want to control the straits and hold that as leverage against the world. And the world has to decide whether or not it's going to allow an international waterway to be under the control of a country like this, which is completely illegal, unlawful, and unacceptable. The United States will do and continue to do what it needs to protect global shipping, but other countries need to begin to step up and provide, whether it's hardware or finances, to help carry that burden. It is not the United States' job to protect shipping for the entire planet forever.
Can you tell us about your meeting with the Lebanese president today?
Very positive this morning. I think, as I said, the future of Lebanon, the best thing that could happen for Lebanon is to have a government, a legitimate government, his government, that controls the country. The biggest problem Lebanon has is that you have a political movement that also has an armed militia that is not just well armed and trained and equipped and financed by Iran, but they use that to conduct terrorism, particularly against northern Israel. And as long as that problem exists, Lebanon will never truly be at peace. And so how do you defeat Hezbollah? How do you replace Hezbollah? You defeat and replace them with a government that is strong enough to be the sole source of arms in the country. And so we lost people in Jordan after there was a strike. A missile got through. We shot down almost all the missiles. One leaked through, hit the wrong place, and tragically, and it's heartbreaking. And our hearts go out to these families. These are heroes that pay the ultimate price. We also lost a service member in Iraq unrelated to combat.